And one of those neighborhoods is right here in South Urban on Cherokee Court. I'm standing about a quarter mile from the Kentucky River, and as you can kind of see behind me, it's still a little dark out this morning. We'll try to brighten up the light there. The water level goes right up to the main road. You can kind of see it out in the distance here, where if you go all the way out to this neighborhood, the water level is well out from the river, and it's coming way back out towards the main road, and it goes another quarter mile onto the other side of the main street here in South Urban. So there is definitely it's dicey in a number of spots. You can still see people driving around as they get about their day, but you're going to want to be very careful, because some of the water, it might seem like it's shallow, but it's not. So it's going to be something to watch out for these next few days. It does look like, though, the water has receded at least a little bit, which is some good news. Well, primarily by hoping and praying that history doesn't repeat itself. And that event you're talking about happened in 2021. Massive flooding ravaged this area. And now some residents we spoke with are, like I mentioned, hoping that history doesn't repeat itself, because that was considered a historic event in 2021. Like many areas across the state, here in Estill County and Ravenna specifically along the Kentucky River, there is still a flood warning in effect until Thursday morning. Chuck Farrell is a pastor at Ravenna Church of God, which is in the neighborhood where he lives. Currently, their neighborhood is impassable and barely looks like a road. He says he still has PTSD from 2021's flooding, and right now, getting resources to people is an immense challenge because of the water.
A food pantry building that's under several feet of water right now. Our garage is starting to take water on. It's going to have a foot or so of water as well. It could be worse, but thank God it is what it is. I mean, we just thank God it isn't worse.
It certainly could be worse, but it's certainly not good right now. Here's a look at the road right in front of the church here in Ravenna. It is still fairly high. You can kind of zoom in and see the signage out there for the Church of God, but then like the miles per hour sign, the speed limit sign, it's almost fully engulfed in the water. Now, coming up later on this morning at 7:30 and 8:30, I'll be speaking to the emergency management director here in Estill County, as well as the judge executive, to get a more updated look on how the county is responding to this ongoing weather event and what the weather that Justin is forecasting for tomorrow could impact in that recovery efforts. Now, officials told us yesterday here at Fox 56 News that they are expecting things to get a little bit better as the water continues to recede, and hopefully they'll be able to get into that recovery phase and move out of this response phase. Live in Ravenna, Tyler Melito, Fox 56 News. And one of the areas hit the hardest is Ravenna along the Kentucky River. I'm standing right on Main Street, which goes onto Millers Creek Road, and from where I am standing, there is about 5 miles worth of closed road. Now, do all those roads have water on them currently? It's not 100% sure. Just looking at Google Maps, that's how far the road closure is. And you can see the water is decently high here. I'm not going to go out there and test it myself, obviously for safety reasons, and I wouldn't recommend anyone doing so under any circumstances. Leave it to the professionals if you do plan on going out and about and trying to rescue someone. Just notify them. That's the best thing you can do. But in a post late last night from Facebook, Estill County Emergency Management said that the flood warning is still in effect until Thursday, and what they are also saying is that as of 9:20 p.m. Monday night, the water level crest reached about 36.8 feet, and mind you, their flood stage is about 21 feet, so they are still well over the maximum number in order to be considered a flood stage. So this is something that's not going to go away quickly, but hopefully it does. Live in Estill County, Tyler Melito, Fox 56 News. That is certainly right. That event you were talking about in the past was in 2021. At the time, it was considered an historic event. And right now, residents here are just hoping and praying that history doesn't repeat itself in terms of it being another historic event. residents we spoke to say that it's been hard these last couple of days just trying to get by. The area, like many here in Estill County, still has a flood warning in effect until early Thursday, specifically along the Kentucky River near Ravenna. Chuck Farrell is a pastor at Ravenna Church of God, which is in the neighborhood where he lives. Currently, the neighborhood is impassable and barely looks like a road. He says he still has PTSD from 2021's flooding, and right now, getting resources to people is an immense challenge because of the water.
A food pantry building that's under several feet of water right now. Our garage is starting to take water on. It's going to have a foot or so of water as well. It could be worse, but thank God it is what it is. I mean, we just thank God it isn't worse.
And to put things into context, this building right behind me, that's the church, and you got a pretty sizable amount of water just across the road here. Do not drive through it, obviously. A foot of water could make a huge impact in sweeping away cars. And it's just one of these things where you think it's okay, but it's just not. You have this constant reminder of these giant puddles and waters here that can be very, very terrifying and bring back horrible memories from 2021. Now, coming up in the next hour, I'll be speaking with the county's emergency management director to get a more up-to-date update on how the recovery process has been going thus far, as well as later on in the morning, I'll be speaking with the county judge executive. You will not want to miss that. Live in Ravenna, Tyler Melito, Fox 56 News. Good morning, Krista and Paul, and all to you all at home. As the sun starts to come up, you could really just see the wide scope of the water and how much water there truly is. From where I'm currently standing, it's about a quarter mile or so from the Kentucky River, and you can see behind me the water. It looks like it's never ending. We actually have someone trying to drive through the water right now. Again, we've been saying it all morning. If you don't have to, don't try to do this. Fortunately, this person looks like they're going to make it through. But let the emergency professionals do this type of thing, because they are the ones who are trained to do this type of thing. And look all the way out there. Like, you see all the trees and the water just goes on and on and on. It's terrifying stuff, and this is something that's all too familiar for people here in Estill County. They experienced flooding in 2021, and I know that's the same thing for people across the state, whether it be in Jackson County, whether it be in Harlan, whether it be in Pike County. This is a sad sight to see. Now, coming up in about 30 minutes, I'll be speaking with the emergency management director here in Estill County for more on how the response is going. Live in Estill County, Tyler Melito, Fox 56 News. That is right. Ronnie Riddle, emergency management director here in Estill County. Thank you so much for taking some time this morning.
And thank you for being here and covering this disaster.
Here we are, a little bit more than 36, closer to 48 hours into this whole weather event. Where do things currently stand here in Estill County?
So it seems like we may have crested overnight, just under 37 feet. A crest takes a while for the river to actually turn and start to go down. So we feel like we're in that stage right now.
And for people sitting at home, it's like, what does a crest mean? So that means the highest point the water will reach, correct?
That is correct. Like I said, it takes some time. The river comes up slow, or in this case came up slowly, and it reaches that peak or crest, and then it starts to go back down slowly before accelerating.
And we were talking about it off camera. You've been director here for a while now, and comparing this weather event to 2021, are there a lot of similarities?
There are some similarities. 2021 was absolutely devastating and a record event for us, but this event, it came close. You know, we're within 3 feet or so. And we saw a lot of the same issues that we saw last time with some areas that aren't typically affected by our flooding that have been this time.
What poses the biggest challenge as you all continue to respond to this weather event? Is it the weather that is coming over the course of the next 24 or so hours, or is there something else?
I think that access to some of the areas is a big challenge. You know, as more roads go underwater, you have areas that become difficult to access. But we don't discount the coming winter weather. It's going to make everything more difficult, both for the residents, the businesses, and the responders as well.
And that is a perfect jumping off point. We have snow in the forecast coming in later tonight, early tomorrow morning. How is that impacting how you all are responding, and what are you all telling residents, whether it be through word of mouth or social media?
We use we say it's a shotgun approach. We try to get word out as many different ways as possible, whether it be social media, word of mouth. They can call here. This interview, you know, we try to use every every available aspect that we can.
Quickly before we go, is there any message that you would want to get out to people? Let them know what you all are doing, or make sure that they are safe.
Yeah, the next 24 hours are going to be tough again. You know, we're still under a lot of water. It's gonna take a while to come out from that. There are going to be flooded roadways. There probably are going to be roadways that are affected by the winter weather. Just please use caution. If you don't have to travel, don't. The next day will be difficult.
Ronnie, thank you so much. Best of luck these next few days. Krista, Paul, we'll send it back over to you all in the studio. Good morning, Krista and Paul. And one thing that stood out from my conversation in the last half hour with the emergency management director here in Estill County is the fact that fortunately they haven't had to perform any water rescues like we've seen in other parts of the state, but that doesn't mean the water isn't having an impact. I was standing here at 6 o'clock this morning on Main Street in Ravenna, which is dispatches on to Millers Creek Road, and I know the sun is making it a little bit harder, but look at all of this water. It just goes on and on and on. This road here is closed for about 5 miles. And now the water is not 100% sure if it's on all 5 miles of the road, but as you can see, it just goes on and on and on. And this is what we've been seeing throughout the course of the morning here in Estill County, just the sheer amount of water everywhere. So people are having to alter their paths as they make their way into work this morning. And we're stressing this is so important. Be extra careful. That's another thing from our conversation with the emergency management director is if you don't have to go out, please stay home. Live in Estill County, Tyler Melito, Fox 56 News. Good morning, Krista and Paul, and good morning to Judge Executive Donnie Watson. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
As we enter yet another day in the recovery phase of this storm, what have you been hearing from residents? You've obviously been serving here for a long time and living here for a long time. What have you been hearing from residents as things move on?
Well, people have been very apprehensive. You know, the water coming up, and they don't know when it. You know, we've been all over the place with the crest mode, and finally it did settle down. I think about 37. But anyway, people have really been very apprehensive. They've been torn up and concerned because many of them have went through this experience that we had in 21, and we were afraid that it was going to go that far. But anyway, we're doing the best we can. You know, our rescue squad, the fire department, the sheriff's office, all the police departments, road department. Everybody's worked together. Everything was in place. All the emergency services, and we were ready for it. And everyone has been taken care of. We haven't had to have someone rescued. Everybody's took the warning, and so far things have worked well.
You gotta give a shout out to all the first responders for all their hard work. As you drive around the county, I mean, we've seen it throughout the course of the morning, significant amounts of water on the road. What level of concern do you have as things start to recede a little bit, that things could potentially wash away, and what would you advise to folks?
Well, people need to be careful. You know, there'll be a lot of mud on the roads. Some roads will be, no doubt, have some places washed out. Culverts will be filled up. Ditches will be full. And we've got a lot of cleaning up to do after it goes down.
And you mentioned that cleanup process. That will be the next phase in recovering from this storm. What will that process look like, and what should people be doing to get ready for it?
Well, we'll need a lot of cleaning supplies, you know, for homes, and houses are a mess. When the water goes down, it leaves mud and a lot of debris and stuff that has to be moved, and it'll take everybody working together to see that things progress and move along to get back in their home.
And quickly before we go, we were just talking about it off camera, the snow that is forecasted to come. We talked with Ronnie Riddle earlier in this morning about how the emergency department is planning for this, but from your perspective, what do you think needs to be done in order to make sure the snow doesn't have too much of an impact as people continue this recovery phase?
Well, our road crew is ready. You know, the state and also the county road crews are ready to clean the roads and take care of that. And so far through the winter, we've been able to do that. But that'll be an issue, no doubt, tomorrow if we get the snow that they're predicting. And I feel confident that everything will work well.
Judge Watson, thank you so much again for the time.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All righty, Krista, Paul, we'll send it back to you all in the studio.